Yes, my G's. Thank you for sticking with me this month because I am doing this thing, trying to do one video per day. And some days, as you've seen, I'm just like, haven't slept properly, or I'm really tired, and I'm just like, the video's just not very good. So please just accept my apology. And I have, fortunately, have slept quite well last night, so I'm a bit more fresh today. I've made a sick, vital ARP bass that I'm going to dive straight into in a moment. And yeah, just thanks a lot for all your support. Thanks for watching all the vids and all your comments and everything. Absolutely amazing. After January, I'm going to take things a bit slower again. Maybe do like 2 videos a week or something like that. I'm still going to keep going, but I'm not going to go like every day. That's just for January. But we are going to continue every day until the end of January. But anyway, today, vital NEUROFUNK bass ARP. Really like this one. Just dropped it on Discord as a free download on there. But anyway, I'm going to talk you through how I made it. The important thing to note is though, with this bass, I can't really go back and like design it from scratch because it's such an intricate piece of sound design that I've like puzzled together. So the only way I can sort of describe it to you is sort of breaking apart what's already been done. Okay, so it's difficult for me to, you know, build it again from scratch. All right, but let's get into it. All right then. So the bass sounds like this. I've got it down at D. It's quite low. It sounds nice at different notes higher up as well. And it's just one note held down, and you'll see it's got like a whole melodic movement to it. I'll play it with the drums and then without, so you can hear it more cleanly without them. Let's do it without. And also, if I played it up a bit higher, let's go to like a G sharp maybe. Also sounds quite nice up here. I wrote it originally in D, but when it goes higher up, the harmonics do kind of work quite nicely, even a bit better at a higher pitch, I reckon. But I think the drums are kind of in D. If they were in a key, it would probably be D. So that's why I'm bringing it back down while I run through the processing / not processing, but the sound design. So yeah, I've called it the Discord Neuro Up because I thought I'd drop it on there because it sounds fat. And what I will do is turn off the Michael Bay effects. No one likes special effects from Michael Bay. They're just too overwhelming and make me fall asleep. No, that's just me. I fall asleep to Michael Bay movies. I don't know why. That's why I gave up watching them a long time ago. Anyway, that's completely beside the point. So what I've got is a sine wave at -24. Then I've got a classic blend, which is kind of like a saw wave / triangle wave. That's actually a good question. What is it? Triangle or saw? Leave a comment down below if you know what I'm talking about. Classic blend is one of the wavetables anyway. Brown noise for the high end, and this one is stereoed, unison stereoed. The other two are in mono. And white noise. So those are our ingredients from the farmer's market. And you see the classic blend is -12. The brown noise is -12 too. And we have a little bit of detuning on them as well. There's a -6, a +2, a +16, just sort of done randomly. Okay, all of the levels are tracked to our main LFO, which is a saw down. It's almost perfectly straight as well. I did tweak it both ways, but I think just a direct line down was the best in the end. At 1/8 notes. So this is doing the whole, the main volume automation for the whole ARP. And this, of course, is on the level of all 3 oscillators and of the white noise. But they all start at 0, but they all finish at a slightly different height. Okay? So they don't all go up to 100%. They all go up to a different amount, essentially. FM oscillator 1 on both of these bottom ones. So our main juicy, low subby sine wave is going into the secondary and the tertiary. I've never said that word on YouTube before. Tertiary oscillator. The subby part is also it's got a bend mode on it because when I was tweaking it later on, I was trying to get the tonality perfect and I was just playing around with some parameters. So this is already, like I said, my final result. So I don't want to go and move things around too much. But that's essentially how it sounds, like without any of the filters or the processing. I believe I've covered everything, turned all the phase off. The start position is all 180 on all of them. That does make an impact if you change it, obviously, but I've left it kind of as it is for this one. Anything else? Yeah, the white noise is very, very low on the level. Just a little bit of white noise coming up. And then we've got some automation on the... Actually, yeah, this is an important point. The LFO1 movement has a bit of automation on... I don't think the pitch, that's just the ARP LFOs, which we'll get into in a moment. But this main LFO1 movement is not only on the level, it's also a little bit on the FM amounts. So these guys give a bit of extra tonal shaping by having them modulate as well. Okay, so that's all of that covered. All right, stick with me. Next, we go into the ARP part, the pitching. Okay, so what I've done to create this ARP, and forgive me if it's a bit of a long way round, but what I've done is I've made I've put the LFO2 on the pitch of all of them, and this one is right click it and you can enter the value, and I've put it up to 3 semitones. Okay, so it's going to go 3 semitones up every time it's at the top of this grid, and it's going to be back at the floor, back at level when it's at 0. Okay, and similarly with oscillator 2, again the same LFO plus 3, same LFO on the bottom one plus 3, so everything's moving together in the pitch in sync. Okay, so for this LFO you can see how I've drawn in the pattern here, and what I do is I've gone on to 4/1, so it's a really slow like a big amount of like timeline. Okay, but then the grid, you can change the grid here, and I've gone for the sort of what is it? Oh, this is useful. I didn't know you could go that way. That could be useful. Oh, I could do like... Oh, I could sort of... Oh, I've just thought of a new idea for the next ARP. I can do a really precise grid like that and not have to use loads of LFOs. Anyway, let's continue with this. But this part here is 32. That's as minute as it'll go. And then if I select here the step mode, then I can just draw in a step to come up and down wherever. Okay. And then I just pick where the spots should be where it goes up in pitch. But what you'll hear, that there's already loads of pitching going on because I've done this LFO 3 times. Yes, 3 times. So LFO 2, LFO 3 and LFO 4 all have a different pitch. Okay. So the LFO 2, like I said, is plus 3. The LFO 3 is same grid shape and timeline length and everything to keep it sort of relatively straightforward, as straightforward as I can be anyway. LFO 3, that one is pitching all of these 3 up 7 semitones. Okay, and LFO 4 is going to go up a whole octave, so it's going to go up 12 semitones. All right, so then you can see this first one, the plus 3, I've used that quite heavily because it's like quite close to the root note. It's sort of just bouncing back between what it would be a D and a 1, 2 and an F. Okay, we're bouncing back between the D and the F quite a lot. And then this one here, this is the plus 7, so that's going to be going up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to an A. Just a couple of moments here. Obviously, if one of these steps were to be on the exact same as one of the other steps, then it's going to go up even more. It's going to, add together, I think. Yeah, it will. LFO 4 then, that's the whole octave up. And so that one is just used a couple of times. Okay, so you get the idea though. That's how I've gone about it. You could, like I said, we could potentially next time draw in the grid with these like extra lines in the middle and then just do the whole thing on one grid. But I wasn't sure that you could do that. And I don't know if it will snap to the grid exactly. I mean, I could try. I don't think it... Oh, wow, it does snap. All right. So if you want to take this to the next level... by the way, when did they put an undo button in Vital? How good is that? I swear they never used to have that. Anyway, yeah, if you wanted to, like, undo things, then that's great. So next time, okay, please forgive me because I've just realised it's a much easier way to do this, okay? Next time, we can just add the whole grid in, all right, and do it like that. But in my silly way, I've done 3 different LFOs to have the 3 different pitches, okay? And I've just made sure that 100% is going to be exactly an octave here, 100% will be exactly 7 semitones here, 100% here will be 3 semitones. Doesn't matter how you get there as long as you get there, all right? So let's move on from that catastrophe. LFO 5 here is doing a little bit of movement too, but this is on the filters, and let's crack those on next. So the main filter is filter 1, and the oscillator 2, 3, and the noise are going into it. The main sine wave I've left out of it, okay? Just because I thought it could have a bit more power when it's not filtered, but we'll see if it makes a big difference, because the sine wave only really has low end anyway, so it probably doesn't make much of a difference here, but I thought I'd leave it out just in case. Driving up a tiny bit, and here the low pass filter movement on everything, just with the LFO1. It's coming up nicely here, and the mix also on LFO1, bringing back a bit of the high end every time we go up as well. So just re-emphasizing a bit more high end by mixing that the other way a bit. Okay, next one, filter 2. So the filter 1 then runs into the filter 2, and then we get an extra bit of control to do some more mid-range dynamic kind of filtering, okay? Phase and negative. So this is, just really changing the tone of the sound quite a lot, and just emphasizing some of those like low mid-range frequencies, giving them some extra expression. Okay, and what I did with the LFO 5 here, essentially what it does is it'll just move my initial cutoff position up or down a little bit. Okay, so it's sort of here it will go up a little bit, so it opens up the filter a little bit more as we go up. And then back down again, okay? And this is just to provide a bit of variation in the tonality of the whole ARP as it goes through, because we're holding down that MIDI note, and a lot of these sort of, especially the brown noise high-end frequency, felt like it was getting a bit stale when just with where the ARP has been playing for so long. So putting in these little filter movements in the whole position on a sort of slow time scale makes the makes this brown noise part, especially this high end part, like just changes the harmonics of it all a little bit, you know, so it doesn't quite get as stale. So it's mainly just that's the reason why I applied that in the first place. Okay, but let's crack on with the next parts then, the effects. 1% or so of reverb. You won't really hear it, but when I distort it, you might hear it more. There you hear the reverb tail a bit more with the distortion on, okay? But I've used the linear fold mode, so it's quite an aggressive one, up about 7 dB, and then driving it up on the LFO1 again to give a bit more pump on the main LFO. Okay, so it doesn't sound that great yet, but what will happen when I add the chorus and the compressor together, it will sound a lot better, okay? And you really hear the reverb again now. So these make a massive difference, and they reintroduce all of the high end back into the sound. The chorus, the compressor does especially. That's giving us the high end grit, you know? I'd taken out loads of it with the filter before, but there's like enough in there still to give the compressor something to work with. And again, it's not really a compressor in this sense. It's more saturator, you know? Don't listen to what that says there. Just toying with the attack a little bit. I've just sort of been tweaking a few parameters on the LFO1 to get the desired tonality out of it. The chorus comes next, and the chorus always makes everything sound much more natural. There's a bit of movement on the mix here again, and that's the depth is a little bit lower than where it starts. The rest of it's kind of just the default. Yeah. Then we've got a bit of extra filtering. This is, again, the mix is a little bit low here, and we've got a low mid-range kind of filter. The LFO1, again, is just doing the main part. And similarly with my other slow variation kind of adjustment filter, LFO5, there's a little bit of movement on the whole cutoff point again, so it just changes a bit over time. We're almost there, my G's. Stick with me, we're almost done. a little bit of boost in the low end with an equalizer at the end. Just felt like I needed a bit more bass back in after I'd sort of chorused it quite heavily. And yeah, that's I think that's the rest of the patch done. The disc called NeuroArp, I believe that is how it sounded before I started showing it to you, and it sounds the same still, hopefully. Yeah, very, very cool. I really, really like this one. One of my favourite Vital patches I've made for a little while. And like I sort of discovered during recording this, there is a little bit of an easier way to go about this if you just use one LFO. And you could set it up to +12 on all of the pitches here. And then you can use the grid with 12 points. And then you've got your whole keyboard in there, your whole octave range, and you could snap the grid between them all. So that's going to be the way to do it next time. But if you want to be weird and go around things the long way round, then just set one LFO up for each pitch variation that you're going to do, and hope for the best. But yeah, like I said before, we got there in the end, one way or another. Sounds pretty cool. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Yes, my G's, curious to know your thoughts on that Neuro bass ARP. Is it the best one I've ever made? Have you guys checked out the other Neuro ARPs in my Vital preset packs? Thanks all of you for grabbing some during the 50% discount sale we did recently. I really, really appreciated that. But those of you who didn't, or just new to the channel, in case you don't know, there are a lot of Vital presets on my website. Links for that are always down below. Faceplant presets too. And both preset packs contain NeuroFUNK ARPs occasionally as well. I think there's at least 1 or 2 in each pack, and I think some of them are really, really sick, but this one might be one of my favourites so far. Let me know what you guys think. Tomorrow we're going to carry on the tutorial series by talking about mastering your workflow. So I'm going to share some tips on how you can improve your own workflow in a personal way so that you can continue to write music at speed with great skill and enjoyment. Anyway, see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.